This house is 19 meters tall, and apparently we're supposed to climb that. Good.
Yeah, you're supposed to like grapple the.
No,
Yeah,
that's really hard.
that's not happening. I'm Gerald, and this is Us 4 Somewhere. We're traveling from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City in 19 days. This is day 6, and today we're discovering just how many different ways there are to be Vietnamese. This is the Vietnam Museum of Ethnology. And the first thing to understand is that Vietnam isn't culturally one single thing. The country officially recognizes 54 ethnic groups. The King make up the large majority of the population, but dozens of other communities have their own languages, traditions, clothing, architecture, and ways of life.
Like compare or something as well. And also on the top here you can see here is a mountain area, and also downtown here is a flat land.
What Halong Bay? Where is it?
Along like here.
Yeah.
And instead of just giving us dates and names, the museum starts with something much easier to understand. Everyday life, how people caught fish, how they carried things, how they grew rice, the tools they worked with, the clothes they wore, the music they made, simple objects. But put together, they start showing how differently communities adapted to the places where they've lived.
A funeral of the people. The same ethnic group might be in my nation, but a different culture.
So they bury.
Yeah, they bury.
They bury.
In Vietnam, the most people they bury.
They bury.
Someone follow for Buddhism, they kind of going for
Cremation.
Right now, the most people they cremate to the body to be the ash before they bury.
And everyday life also meant dealing with death. There were funeral garments and displays showing how different communities buried and remembered their dead. We didn't know it yet, but we'd come back to that subject outside. And it was going to get considerably stranger. There were examples of weaving, boats, and traditional clothing, and eventually entire living spaces. Masks, jewelry, handwritten books, and models showing the different ways homes were built. Some for individual families, others for much larger communities. And one particular roof kept showing up. We would meet the full-size version very soon. Then we walked out behind the museum. And this is where the place gets really interesting. Because instead of models, there are full-size traditional houses. You can walk through them, climb into them, see how people slept and cooked. Some were incredibly simple inside. A few pieces of furniture, pots, beds, everything you needed. Then there's the Ede Longhouse. And this one really could house a lot of people. The Ede traditionally lived in matrilineal extended families. As daughters married and new family units were added, the house could literally get longer. Imagine starting with one family. A daughter marries, the family grows, so does the house. Another generation, another extension. The longhouse reconstructed here at the museum is more than 42 meters long, and historical longhouses could apparently become vastly longer than that. Suddenly, all that space and all those household objects inside made considerably more sense. But then we saw this. Okay, that's a roof. The Banar communal house here rises about 19 meters including its stilts, which immediately raises one fairly obvious question. Why? First, this wasn't somebody's enormous family home. The communal house was the heart of the Banar village, a place for meetings, ceremonies, receiving guests, and bringing the community together. And its size mattered. The traditional house was designed to stand above everything around it. Its scale demonstrated the strength and the skill of the community that built it. Even that dramatic roof had a practical side. Its curved shape helped the structure withstand wind. So yes, There were reasons for making it this tall. None of those reasons made the stairs any less terrifying though.
Ayan. Good.
Yeah, you're supposed to like grapple the.
No, that's really far.
Because apparently, if you wanted to see inside, this is how you get there.
Maybe you can.
Sana if you had long legs and like long arms.
She considered it, she evaluated the situation, and nope.
Kaya, yan,
Yeah, but I don't have the long legs like you.
So naturally, I was volunteered. And yes, there actually was something at the top. Then we found something we initially thought might be some kind of fertility house. And you can probably understand why. There were naked men, naked women, pregnant women, couples, and some extremely enthusiastic anatomical detail. So, fertility? Kind of. But this isn't a fertility house. It's a Gia Rai tomb house. Traditionally, the Gia Rai built these structures for the dead. The tomb house was associated with the deceased and their existence in the other world. And those sexual figures weren't random decoration. The museum identifies images of couples exposed genitalia and pregnant women with the ideas of fertility and reproduction, which creates this extraordinary contrast. A place built around death, surrounded by images of creating life. Objects could also be left for the dead, things connected with everyday life and what they might need. And after an important ceremony marking the final separation between the living and the dead, the tomb was traditionally left behind. The wood, the carvings, everything, allowed to deteriorate naturally. Even these figures we'd initially read as simply sad or grieving looked different once Eden explained what this place actually was. We'd walked over expecting something about fertility. Instead, we'd found a completely different way of thinking about death. And speaking of confronting mortality, someone had unfinished business. She came back.
One more wrong. Yeah.
Okay, you got it.
Oh. Oh yan, kuha pa niya.
Lord.
Actually, mas madali later dito, mas manipis yung yun.
And she made it. Getting down was another matter. I'm not entirely sure what technique this is, but somewhere in the Philippines, a tuko is watching this and feeling represented. After learning how different communities across Vietnam live, our final stop was about something else: how Vietnam scholars learn. This is Hanoi's Temple of Literature. Founded in 1070, the Temple of Literature was dedicated to Confucius and scholarly learning. Then, in 1076, the Imperial Academy was established here. It's commonly described as Vietnam's first national university. And one part of the complex might look familiar if you've been carrying Vietnamese money around. The image appears on the 100,000 dong banknote. And seeing Eden line up the real thing with the money was considerably more interesting than simply being told that. Eden also kept pointing out the symbolism built into the architecture.
Here, you can see the two fish at the two sides.
The fish, he explained, represented persistence, always moving forward. Then we found these. At first glance, stone tablets sitting on turtles. But these are basically academic honor rolls carved in stone. The surviving doctoral stelae record the names of scholars who succeeded in Vietnam's historic royal examinations. Imagine passing one of the hardest exams of your life. And centuries later, tourists are still reading your name. And they're sitting on turtles for a reason. The turtle has long been associated with longevity and wisdom. A pretty good foundation for making somebody's academic achievement last.
You can see this one here. We have one of the birds stand up on the top of the turtle. Yeah. So the birds is meaning the heaven. Turtle meaning the earth as well. Yeah. So like kind of.
Then Eden showed us another pairing, the stork and the turtle. His explanation was that the bird represents heaven, the turtle earth, and together they represent harmony, which apparently meant rub the bird. But seeing the scholars' names made us wonder what they actually had to do to get there. And this was considerably less appealing. Candidates could spend years studying Confucian classics, literature, government, and philosophy. The examinations were competitive, formal, and extremely demanding. Once the examination began, you were on your own. No copying, no asking the person next to you, definitely no Google. Just your memory, your writing, and years of preparation. Those who succeeded at the highest levels could enter government service.
Organize the examination. So the student gonna be stay here during about 2 days at least to making the examination. They're not moving anywhere. They stay here to doing the examination. And examiner gonna stay at the rock.
No copy.
No copy. Just stay here.
There,
Yeah. Okay.
Sleeping. On the way to the barangay.
By now, we'd been walking through Vietnamese history for most of the day. But this part was less about dates and more about just looking around. There were modern displays inspired by traditional materials and this enormous carved wall telling the story of the scholars who once studied here. And that brought us to the end of day 6 in Hanoi. Over the last 2 weeks, this one day has taken us from Hanoi's oldest pagoda to Ho Chi Minh, to the traditions of Vietnam's many ethnic communities, and finally here to a place dedicated to the scholars who helped shape the country. We definitely did not remember every date. We didn't understand every symbol. And I'm still not completely sure how she got down from that house. But that's kind of why we're here. We're traveling from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City in 19 days, and we're learning as we go. Join us next week as we continue south through Vietnam and find out where Day 7 takes us. Until then, we'll see you somewhere.